Okay, so right now I'm basically looking at the general assembly and doing the unglamorous job of going through parts like this which were solid and trying to basically take weight out of it, but also still sort of retain the sort of structural integrity. So this is still really strong, which is a key component as it basically takes half of the load of the entire project on the chassis. And so it's basically going through looking at parts like this. And then, of course, the interesting bit, well, maybe it's interesting, but the critical bit is then taking it to the 3D printing. And hopefully you can see here, when you sort of zoom into it, it's basically got layers of where the print nozzle will go. And the key thing there is you want the print nozzle to basically work in integers. So if it's a 1mm nozzle, you want things which are a unit of that. So 2mm or 3mm wall thickness means that it doesn't do this thing where it basically tries to figure out what to do with 2.5, which structurally isn't very good. So you want lots of clean, basically sort of a bit like laying a wall. You don't want half bricks, you want full bricks. And so then that ends up meaning that we've got things like this printing out, and hopefully that will reduce some of the weight of the thing, even though in terms of each component it's kind of nominal. But yeah, I'd be pleased if I come out at the end of it with maybe sort of taking about 10% off. And I think it's not to be underestimated as well, the fur is quite dense, so the fact that I've trimmed it and also will try and just contour it a little bit better, and not sort of load on too much extra stuff to basically make it as light as possible. Even though I've done a test with it now and it's heavy, it still works absolutely fine, which I'm really pleased with. But I do notice that basically the strain on the motors equates to the batteries basically giving less time. So if it drove for 18 minutes, it's probably now down to like 15 or 14 minutes. So I think also just in terms of, you know, not wasting materials, it's also important to see whether I can reduce as much as possible. So there we go. Final touches. Devil in the detail, huh?